Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubbleboy and Seven. This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to Xbox Record This, episode 83. Quickly joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
Doing great. Glad to be back in the number 2 spot. Thanks for having me.
And joining us, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Bubbleboy and Seven. How are you?
Good. I think if we were a baseball team, I'd be hitting in the power spot right now, so I'm okay with that.
Well, I played Little League Baseball with you, and you never hit power. So moving on, guys, we have a special guest. And I do want to point out right now, before I even introduce him, that Chance said, why aren't you wearing your XRT hoodie? And I said, Chance, I'm wearing a specific shirt for a specific reason. So I want our special guest to see the shirt. And usually, I have to say, I save this for going out on dates, special occasions. And I'm wearing it tonight. So let it be known that you know him as Porsche Power on Twitter. His favorite gaming franchise, rightfully so, is Halo. He might have the greatest man cave west of the Mississippi. He is quoted as saying The Witcher 3 is the greatest video game of all time. He may or may not be as big of a Chiefs fan as Bubbleboy and Seven, and we hope not. And Prey was his 2017 game of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome founder and editor-in-chief of Seasoned Gaming, Mr. Ainsley Bowden. Welcome to XRT.
That was one hell of an intro, man. And I'm definitely not worthy of it. But thank you guys, man. Yeah, it's looking forward to this, and should be a good time. Wow, you dug deep for that intro.
You know what's funny, Ains, is I probably put more effort into that introduction than I do into the show normally. So feel honored. Ains, I wanted to ask you.
Well, it wasn't wasted in your production, but it was wasted on me. I will say that.
So very quickly, Ains, will you give us like a 2-minute review of your gaming history up until you first held the Duke and everything changed forever for you?
Yeah, I'm older. It's a joke. That's where seasoned gaming comes from. So I started gaming very early 80s with the Atari 2600 and ColecoVision.
What is that?
Yeah, that's me going white. And been gaming ever since, honestly. Every single generation I have owned. I like to say I've owned and sold and traded more games than could possibly count. Thousands and thousands. I had a business selling games at one point when I was younger.
Wow.
I mean, just endless. So I've loved everything. I've collected all kinds of rare consoles and games. Sadly, sold most of them off nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, been gaming ever since. Just ever since I first played, it's just been a passion of mine. And started SG back in 2015. And that's a passion project as well. And just love it, man. And love the positive side of gaming. I think you guys know, like, I don't dabble in the nonsense and try to stay away from that stuff. And I just like games on all platforms. Xbox has always been a comfort thing for me because when Halo CE launched in 2001, played it day one, went out and bought an Xbox that night, never played my GameCube. And Halo just kind of took over. I used to play tournaments in 1 and 2 and, still very competitive. And Halo, as you said, is my favorite franchise. So that's always had an affinity for Xbox for me. So love Xbox, but that doesn't take away from anything else. I just love gaming in general, man. So yeah,
well, thank you for that nice introduction. We'll have more questions for you here in a second. I just wanted to let you know, Ains, about us. So XRT is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. And we are real life 3 BFFs. I've known Chance since like Little League Baseball, Jose since middle school. I would describe our show as like a real life kind of funny BFFs who love Xbox with the same passion as Sacred Symbols that they have for PlayStation.
Sure.
with a little bit of nostalgia like Knockback. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a LSM fan, or an LSM simp, as they say. And but we also have a big passion for food. And I wanted to ask you, do you know why we called our show Xbox Record This? Or I just gave it away. Dang it. Xbox Record.
I think he's gonna get this question right.
Oh
Dave.
man.
Were you supposed to say XRT there?
Well, yeah. Well,
Okay. Yeah, well,
yeah,
all right.
it's a throwback to the Kinect, the failed.
Of course, yeah.
The
I'm
failed
a Kinect defender, by the way. I'm a Kinect apologist. I enjoyed the Kinect. I kept my Xbox One Kinect hooked up even when I got the One X. And
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
impressive. That's do you just
Do you
because I
still
don't
tell
know
it to record?
Yeah.
no, I disconnected it when the Series X came out. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bubbleboy.
But I used the Xbox Fitness. I have achievements.
Oh, yeah,
all that
all
stuff.
right.
Like, I mean, I used it. My kids played on all the Kinect adventures and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a significant other in the house that has to walk in like, can they see me? Is that thing on?
She used to.
Is it-
Yeah, she used to. Yeah,
It
no
was
doubt.
ahead of the time, you guys. Remember, like Snap YouTube, Snap TV. Man, I was all aboard the Kinect.
I
So
love
yes,
Snap, man. I loved it.
the good
I
old
loved it.
days.
I used to watch hockey games while gaming, dude. It was great.
I do have to ask though,
Yeah.
are you a big Chiefs fan?
So I am a Chiefs fan by association.
I'll take it.
So
Good enough.
I'll
And we
take it.
welcome all of it. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was born in San Francisco. So I grew up for decades as a diehard 49ers
Nice.
fan. Diehard.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
ran
mean, you
3
lived through
fantasy
Montana
football.
and Rice, and then
Oh,
Young
yeah.
and Rice, right? Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
The glory
Yeah, I
days.
mean, I remember the '82
Young.
Super Bowl as a little kid. I remember my family, all together watching it. So, diehard 49ers fan my whole life. And then I moved to Kansas City about, I think, 11 years ago now. And if you are in the area, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Like, everyone loves the Chiefs. And there's a huge...
why wouldn't they?
Exactly. And there's just a huge, up or down, they support the Chiefs. And I went to
Yep.
my first Chiefs game last season.
Oh wow.
Which was cool. I got like box tickets that someone at work gave me, which was
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
And yeah, so I support the Chiefs, and Mahomes is awesome. I mean, he's that rare mix of incredible talent plus a genuinely good dude, and
Yep.
you just love to see it. So
Yep.
it's good.
And even these two Broncos fans over here can admit how amazing he is. So
Yeah, he's in my fantasy team for sure, man. He's.
I mean, you can't deny his talent,
No.
right? Like, I mean,
No. And how do you not just love? He's just so lovable.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he that lovable?
his
Yes.
brother's not, but he is.
No.
Yeah.
God, why I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, who cares? So enough Chiefs
I've
talk.
erased
All
it.
right. All that matters is Ains is actually a 49ers fan, and he's
That's
just
true.
associated with the
Hey,
Chiefs.
and we
I-
can
I could
appreciate
tell.
that too, because Christian McCaffrey, homegrown Colorado
There
boy.
we go.
So
There you go.
Always injured, though.
Enjoy him. No, he hasn't been injured this entire season.
Oh, that's a first. Guys, let's jump into some XRT shoutouts before we get into the warm-up. And I told Ains to save that. So very quickly, I just wanted to give a shout out to Gogol Kafkapo at Gogolesk on Twitter for following us. And then Jbizzle wrote into the show and he said, "What's up, fellas? Great episode last week. Some banger slanger top fives recently. D Wally, I'm stoked that you're all in the Soulsborne games. I played through all of Bloodborne a couple of months ago and really enjoyed it. That being said, I can't blame you for wanting to get back into Elden Ring. I still think you should take on Sekiro at some point. The parrying system is a lot easier in that game than in all the other Souls games. FYI, there is also a parry system in Bloodborne. It won Game of the Year for a reason. I just bought Dark Souls Remastered from the Black Friday sale and about 10 hours into it. It has been very enjoyable, but it's definitely showing its age. I also bought a game called Ashen, which was another great Souls-like game that is definitely worth your time on the XRT rating scale. I paid $14 for it, but I would have gladly spent $40. Just a shout out, Jbiz. I believe Ashen was one of the early Game Pass games. And
It
I
was.
skipped
It was.
Yep.
It
'cause I was
was,
so
yep.
afraid of the Souls games at the time.
Yep.
Jose, Pumpkin Pie is great. Don't let the haters hate. Chance, I cannot believe you've put 40 plus hours. I checked your stats into a game that simulates a chore. I guess I should try it before I knock it. And then he gives us his top 5 restaurants. So we had our top 5 chain restaurants last weekend. So that's just to catch you up. And he said he said honorable mention, Olive Garden. Can't believe it's Diwali's number 1.
Agreed.
I got to clear something up right now. Okay. Guys, Yard House would have been my number one, but I had a serious ex-girlfriend of many, many years who worked at Yard House for a long time. Okay. That is one reason why I cannot put it number one. Number two, I also dated a famous girl that we can't talk about with Ains and little kids around who also worked there too. So in order for
But
me to
that's the
remain
problem. You
married.
have to take emotion out of this. This is the people want science. They don't need to know your backstory. They need to know where to spend their hard-earned money. That's why Jbiz
Olive
tunes
Garden is
into
still
this.
delicious, but probably number two. And
And-
don't tell Ellie because she's like, you never told me Tina worked there. And I was like, I swear to God, I told you.
Don't
this.
worry,
So
she's never gonna find out because she won't hear this.
Yeah, literally yesterday, she's like, you never told me that. It's almost started a fight. So continuing on with Jbiz's submission, Ains will catch you up later. Mellow Rush Mushroom Pizza. Great pizza, but a tad overpriced. And Bonefish Grill. I don't always want fish, but when I do, it's where I go. Number 5, Ted's Montana Grill. Not a giant menu, but the food is delicious. Number 4, Hacienda Colorado. Come on, Jbiz. I think this is a chain in Texas as well, so I'm counting it. I know it's probably a hot take, but they have the best chili rellenos and chimichangas, great chips, and good margaritas as well.
I just have a
Jose?
hard time with Mexican that isn't family owned and like
But
doesn't have.
How can it be a chain? So he's
Hyman's is a chain in Colorado.
Yeah,
They just
you're
opened
right,
their
but
other locations.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I don't think any of us had a Mexican restaurant, right? Because that's not where we go when you want Mexican.
There's no good chain.
Nobody goes to On the Border.
Oh, terrible. Number 3, Cheesecake Factory. I agree, Jose. I don't even care if I get cheesecake when I go there because their entrees are the best. Everything is amazing. Number 2, BJ's Brewery. I love their pizza, their sandwiches, and most of all, I love their Pazookies, whatever that is. And number 1, a unanimous one between everybody but me, Yard House. They truly have the best food. Haven't eaten one since I moved back to North Carolina, but I miss it greatly. Wish me luck, boys. Kid number 4 is due December 15th.
Wow.
Hashtag here comes the chaos. Jbiz002. P.S. Keep the episodes coming. And I'd also love to be a part of your Game Awards episode when the time comes. Huge shout out to Jbizzle. Ains, I'm going to throw it over to you. Do you have any input on your best chain restaurants? Do any of those strike a bell with you? Okay.
Zero. I was thinking about it while you guys were talking. I was like, I don't know what I would say. Yard House is good. I'll say that.
Oh, all right. Well, there we go. Yard House, unanimous number 1. I get voted out again. And we also had another write-in, but it's tied to the warm-up / opener. So, Bubbleboy, why don't you take it away? And Ains, do you want to go first on this, or do you want to? I got to ask you. Well,
is this the thing you sent me?
Yes, let Chance introduce it first. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Bubbleboy.
and I feel terrible because I'm drawing a blank. We came up. It was last week during the episode, right? Did Pony ask this, or I forget? Somebody were just like, "How have we not done Little Debbie's?" Like, we have I'm sure you have something similar, but like a nerd chat with probably 10 or 12 of us that have all been close friends for a really long time, and I don't know what 90%. Yeah, 90% of it is either Little Debbie and Pop-Tart references or
cereal
Simpsons
reviews.
references. So yeah, the fact that we took 83 episodes to get to our top 5 Little Debbies is really just insulting to the universe. I don't know. So yeah, do you want to back cleanup or do you want to go first, Ainsley?
Let's ask Ainsley though. Be honest. Do you like Little Debbie's or are you a liar? Basically.
Yeah, no. Little Debbie's is great. Yeah, okay. I actually had to. You asked me top 5, and I had more than 5, so I had to kind of go back through.
You can give us your honorable mention. Please
You're one of us, bud.
Yeah. Honorable mention. Yeah. Okay. I will go. I don't know. I'll go whenever you guys want me to. You tell me.
Let's hear it. Let's start with you.
All right. So I'll start with number 5. Right? Are we going to go backwards?
Yep. That's how we typically do it.
Okay. I forget what the hell I had at 6 now. It's not on my list, and I forget what I had. So number 5, which may come as a shock to some people, is the oatmeal cream pie.
No.
Excellent.
I figure that they're known for oatmeal cream pies, but it almost got put off the list, but I couldn't have a Little Debbie list without it, so it came in at number 5. 4, what do I got here? The combination, and it's December now, so a combination of zebra cakes / Christmas tree cakes. They have to be included. I love them. I don't know. They taste great. Okay. Whatever the hell's in them, they're good. Number 3 is an age-old classic, especially for kids that grew up in my era, which is the honey bun. honey bun has to be included. It's a legend. I mean, we used to, no joke, when I was in middle school, we used to play games like card games or pencil fight to take each other's money to buy extra honey buns.
Oh yeah.
So that was just how we did things.
Next level right there on the playground.
Number 2 is a more personal choice, which is they make amazing apple and cherry pies. And so I have those in here. Cherry pie for me over apple, but they're both great. Number 1 was hard, but I just thought about how ridiculously fast I can eat these, and that is their Swiss rolls. I just love the Swiss rolls, man. They're just they just melt in your mouth, chocolate goodness with the cream. It's amazing. So.
Dude, I knew Ains was a winner right away. All
right,
right,
this is a man after Daniel's heart.
Dude, the Halo, other various things, not liking Kansas City. Come on, he's my best friend right now.
There's
Bubbleboy.
When I went to their website, because I had to go to their site.
I did too.
To actually see their whole range, and I was like, they make way too many good things. Like this is way too hard.
So. Yeah, we'll probably have to do a follow up one of these days.
Well, Little Hostess will be next week.
Do you guys do you know Tasty Cake?
Yeah, it's not as popular here, but it's
I've heard of them. We don't. It's not something that you can just find at the store.
Yes. So I grew up.
Is it like
east.
Entenmann's?
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, Tasty Cake is kind of like that. If you're on the East Coast, you know Tasty Cakes. Like they're like one of those things. But yeah. Anyway,
Bubbleboy.
Yeah.
Actually.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Why don't you go next? Because
I'm going to offend you all, probably.
Yeah, you go next. Yep, I knew it. Let's hear it.
I have to say, I refuse to put Cosmic Brownies on this list, and the power's going out here.
All right, we're going to lose Bubbleboy. All right, he's up
is your list that bad?
Again.
Yeah. No, yeah. The Excel's just like, this guy, we already heard he doesn't have Cosmic Brownies, so we're shutting it down.
Shut it down.
No need for the internet. Anyway, I just can't do it. But so when I went on their website to look at things, they had 2 things that I had never seen before, which were fudge rounds, which are essentially the oatmeal cream pies, but just all chocolate, and then fudge dipped banana rolls, which I assume are like the oh God, the one you just said was your number 1. Why am I drawing a blank?
Swiss rolls.
Swiss rolls?
Yes, that's what they looked like, at least to me, with maybe a little bit of banana flavoring, which I thought would be good. So, coming in for my number 5, and I love the crunch that you get with this, is the Star Crunch cookie. That's like little Rice Krispie, or not Rice Krispies, Rice Krispies,
cereal,
not the
with
caramel. Rice cereal. Yep, with a little bit of caramel. Those are always delicious. Number 4, strawberry shortcake rolls. I think those are fantastic. Yeah, Daniel, come on. And the thing about this is nobody knows what any of the ingredients are, right? So it's strawberry colored, maybe not flavored, but they probably, if you put them side by side with a Swiss roll, taste identical. Number 3, I'm surprised that this didn't hit your list, Ains, even though I don't know you. I was just like, wow, Nutty Buddies. How do you not put Nutty Buddies on there? I think anything with peanut butter is better.
Might number not be 2, a fan of peanut butter.
I guess, yeah. I shouldn't have assumed. Number 2, honey buns. Gotta love a good honey bun, and they have every Safeway or King Soopers, whatever grocery stores they have in Kansas City, probably have the knockoffs, but it's never the same if it's not a Little Debbie honey bun, and those are just fantastic. And I know Daniel's I can't get demoted anymore, but oatmeal cream pie, number 1. It's a
almost
classic.
promoted.
Wait, you were okay?
Oatmeal cream pies are amazing. Come on, that's amazing.
Oh, I thought you gave him a look when he said it was number 5. That was like,
I was disappointed that it was only.
That was too low, I think.
I see. I just think that's when I think Little Debbie, that's what I think.
That's what they're known for.
Oatmeal cream pie, and eat them a sleeve at a time.
All right, Jose, you go ahead, because mine is the definitive XRT list. Course. So I'll go last.
You didn't do your homework again. Similar to other people, honorable mention for me were Star Crunch and the honey buns. I have nothing against honey buns. I just didn't eat them as a kid, and so I didn't even have them till I was an adult. And I actually think they're a little bit more of an East Coast thing. My wife actually was a teacher out in North Carolina for a while, and literally her kids would come and make like honey bun sandwiches for like snacks and stuff like that. So mad props to them. I hope they're still alive. My official fist, I'm with Chance, number 5, strawberry rolls. Literally, I didn't think you guys were going to have that, but that's my number 5. I loved those as a kid. Number 4, also the Nutty Bars. I love a good peanut butter snack. Number 3, like Ains said, the zebra cakes. I love zebra cakes year round.
Man.
They are just, I could eat 6 of them, especially if my wife's not looking. Number 2, oatmeal cream pies, because they are also amazing. And number 1, believe it or not, it is very hard to find right now. I have been looking in every store that I go to, are the Christmas cakes. They are not anywhere. I've checked Target.
Yeah.
I've checked King Supers. I had to order them from Amazon because I could not find them anywhere else. That is my official number 1. I love the Christmas cakes. I could eat all those all day.
They're amazing.
Dan, what do you got, bud?
Very good list there, Jose. So we did have a write-in, and my wife, this was the only time I've ever seen her so excited to participate in XRT. She wrote into XRT email. And
she didn't just tell you this?
Yes. I was like, honey, if you want to be on the show, you need to write it into our email. And where's our email, Jose?
She's
Where
not
can people
special.
write in?
You can write an Xbox record this at gmail.com. Go ahead.
So she wrote in, and I have to say she had to send 2 lists because the first one she accidentally had some hostess on there, and I was like, honey, we can't. No, big mistake. So amateur hour. Correct. So here is her top 5. She said, hi, honey. Here is my top 5 Little Debbie list. Actually, I can't stop at 5, so it's really 6. That was when she had her hostess on there. So it is 5. She said, number 5, cosmic brownies. Number 4, zebra cakes. Number 3, oatmeal cream pies. Number 2, Swiss cake rolls. And number 1, Nutty Buddy bar. She said, love you slightly more than the list above. And I have to say, guys, this is why I married her, because I have the exact same 5, but in a different order. Okay. I swear to you. So here's the definitive Daddy Diwali / XRT list of Little Debbies as voted on by all the co-hosts, including special guest host Ains. Honorable mention, chocolate chip cream pies. Have you had those? Also pretty dang delicious. Donut sticks, birthday cakes, and I wanted honey buns to be on my top 5. It was so close. But again, these other 5, this is what we get all the time. So number 5, Nutty Buddies, originally known as Nutty Bars, right, Jose? I like how you correctly said the original.
Nutty Bars was the original.
When did it become Nutty Buddy? I don't remember this. And then
got to make candy more friendly for the
bars got canceled, man. You can't say bar anymore.
I guess so. Number 4, cosmic brownies. Bubbleboy is way off on that one. Number 3, zebra cakes, standard. Number 2, oatmeal cream pies, and number 1, the Swiss rolls. That I have a problem. I'll get Ains, you get the giant ones. I get the mega Swiss rolls, and those are like 500 calories a pack, and I'll down like 3 of those easy. So
can't do it, man.
There you go. The definitive.
Too old. The metabolism doesn't work anymore, man.
Well, yeah, I know. I know it takes me years to lose some weight, and then after a weekend, I'll gain 3 pounds. It's awesome. So thank you, Bubbleboy, for the awesome warm up idea. Next week, tune in because I have a feeling we're going to be doing hostess as our next top 5 list. Ains, we're not going to talk about the news because you know what, that's boring, and we'll listen to you talk about it on Season Gaming with everyone. Make sure please say hi to Hogue and Ty Guy and Dan for me, and tell them we look forward to that. So we're going to jump in to the main topic and the main reason I invited you here, Ains. Ains, Halo Infinite is a great game, and I'm tired of everyone bashing it. I'm tired of all the hate. I am so sick of it. I don't understand. It is such a great game, Ains. Please explain to me why you think Halo just gets cockeyed on all the time. I don't get it. The gameplay is phenomenal, Ains. The grapple shot is probably the best addition to any game I can ever think of. Turn on the skull. What's the skull where you have unlimited ammo? I can't think of it. Is it Calbout or what is the skull with unlimited? Anyway, unlimited. And unlimited equipment. I am Spider-Man out there. I just redid the campaign. I got all achievements the other day with X-Bacon Game, and I've got 2020 out of 2020. Did you see that chance? The 920th gamer according to True Achievements to complete all of Halo Infinite achievements. Just saying.
Wow.
Ains, why do you think Halo gets so much hate? Because at its core.
That's a big question. I've talked about this a lot, as you likely know. Done a lot of conversations on Halo and Halo Infinite in particular. I think Halo, like a lot of long-term IPs, has 2 problems, and one of them is unique. 2 of them are actually. Let's go with 3 problems. 2 of them are unique to Halo. The main problem is that is shared among long IPs, in my opinion, is that there's a dichotomy or a disparity, I should say, between the old school fans who want things not to change, and new school fans that they're trying to bring in, and 343 now trying to walk that line, which, by the way, I think they did fantastically in Infinite. The kind of core reason Halo gets hate, I think, now, one, it became really cool to hate on Halo Infinite this year, which I hated, obviously, and I spoke out about that a lot. I think there is a misconception and a lack of just realistic viewpoint of what Halo is in 2022. I think that the people who think, you'll hear all the time, well, Bungie this, Bungie that. And I genuinely believe these people don't have a firm grasp of memory on what happened during Halo CE through Reach. Bungie was incredible. They paved the way. I mean, I could wax poetic about Halo 2, all of them, forever. But Bungie also made a lot of mistakes. And they were fortunate to have the top shooter in an era where there was very little to no competition in the console space. And they led the way with Halo 2 and online matchmaking and ranking and all these things. It was a revolutionary game.
Revolutionary, yep.
Yeah, one of the most
Just
important
crazy.
games, I would say, in gaming history. Halo 3, I'm not as high on Halo 3 as most of the gaming community is, or Halo community is, but you can't you can't take away from what it did at the time, right? But I like to remind people, and I had people actually push back on me. What show was on? I was on with Cog and Maddie on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember specifically. That's how I got introduced to you, by the way. It was that episode of Defining Duke, and I was like, Ains is spot on about a lot of this stuff on Halo, and that's what kind of sparked this idea and why I wanted to get you on here. So shout out to Defining Duke and all those guys. So,
yeah, great guys.
Sorry, go ahead. So yeah, you were talking about.
I said that by 2007, when Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4, right, Modern Warfare released, by 2008, Call of Duty was the number one played game, shooter
Halo
on Xbox Live. And Halo started to fall down.
Did you guys play that? When I remember when COD came out, I was all aboard the COD train. Was there a chance?
Oh yeah,
I was a Halo defender, but
oh man, you stayed strong. See, Halo 3, like you said, I agree. It didn't grab me as much as 2. 2 was revolutionary. I was in college, and I'll never forget that. And like that was like, oh my gosh, just peak Halo. Like to me, Halo 2 probably still my number one, but I might have Halo Infinite right there. So just saying. But sorry, go ahead.
So when I said that, someone of course referred to the old Xbox Live charts where it shows Halo 3 number one. And I said, yes, but what I said was that Call of Duty became the most played shooter. And it did, because what happens, right? Each Call of Duty entry was a different game on that list. So when you added up the total users, Call of Duty was number one over Halo at that time. Because you had Call of Duty 2, 3, 4, etc. But my point in saying that is that that's when that kind of easy to pick up twitch shooting, the skill gap is not as high, I like to say, and that's not an insult on Call of Duty. It's just Halo is a very competitive game, right, with a deep kind of mechanic set to it. But my point in saying that is, if you look at 2022, I've pointed out to people countless times, and I look at this crap every week. It's part of what I do for Season Gaming, is to look at the most played games on platforms, right? And everyone says Halo Infinite. Well, not everyone. That's not fair. But, there's that bulk of people out there that say Halo Infinite is dead. And it's like, it's not dead. It's been in the top 20 played on Xbox Live all year. Even in its worst moments when people were really down on it, it's been in the top 20. It fell out maybe a week or two at like 21, 22. But for the most part, it's top 20. And then the point I make in that is if you look at the top, say, 10 games played today in 2022, every single one of them is a third-party cross-play on all platform game. It's Fortnite, it's Apex, it's Roblox, it's Minecraft, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. It's those games that are, Warzone is up there, right? And it's those games that are everyone can play together in huge swaths of people, right? Halo is still an exclusive title. Obviously, right? It's not on PlayStation. It's not on Switch. It can't be played in those capacities. And on top of that, as if you look at the most played, Battle Royale is the thing. I don't really like, I'll say it out loud. I don't like Dr. Disrespect, really. I don't care for his content. But when he said that Halo needs a Battle Royale, he was pretty spot on. I don't think it needs it. I think that's too aggressive of a word. But I think that when you're looking at the top streamed and played games, it's Warzone, it's Apex, and it's Fortnite. And I mean, they're like 3 of the top 5 every week. And
I was going to ask you, Ains, if I could interrupt about
course.
that the battle royale. I did want to ask you. You did kind of answer it. Is you think Halo needs it, but you don't necessarily want one. See,
opposite. So I don't think it needs it, but I do want one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would agree. I think I actually I'm right there with you. I don't think it needs it, but would I want one? Absolutely. And I actually just recently tweeted about I played Warzone when it came out for free because I didn't buy Call of Duty this year, and I'm actually proud I didn't because I stayed strong and I just didn't feel the need to buy it this year. And throughout Call of Duty's history, I've played them, but I realized I don't buy them regularly. And 2019 was the first time I went out and bought, and I was like, yeah, I need to have this day one. I was super excited to go back to Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019, got all into the multiplayer. And when Warzone dropped, man, super obsessed because Ains, my most played game of all of Xbox, sad to say, according to Xbox, you know, when they did that 20-year anniversary thing, PUBG.
PUBG's number 2 for me.
What was your number 1?
Smite. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Okay.
I love it.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So I had when that came in, what was that 2017 when the 1X came? That blew my mind when PUBG came, and I was like, because that was the first time. Fortnite never appealed to me. I still to this day have never played Fortnite. I don't think any of us have, and just it didn't appeal to me. But when I saw PUBG and I saw the doc, you know, on playing that, and I was like, I can't wait to jump into that. So many hours in that janky busted game, but it was addicting, right? And then when Warzone hits, took over our lives. But once Warzone switched to Caldera and the other ones, I haven't played it that much. And I do like Rebirth a lot. I did jump into, like I said, the most recent Warzone 2.0, and I had fun, Ains. Like I got a couple of wins in duos with a buddy that first weekend. And then I was like, I haven't played it since. And I can't help but think, man, I miss the mechanics of Halo. And I wish Halo could do something like that. And like you said, I don't think it's necessary because I love Halo for different reasons, but it would be cool just to have that mode built into Halo. And so that kind of ties into the second thing I wanted to ask you regarding Halo. And you kind of did answer it with a little bit when you were talking to the Defining Duke guys and I think you said it won't be, but like, and I kind of agree is like, do we ever think that Halo is going to be as big as it was in those 2-3 days? Or is it going to be the third place stepchild, just like Xbox? To me, I feel like Xbox is always going to be the third place console, no matter what they do. Like that's whole nother question. So Jose or Chance, do you guys want to respond to that at all before I throw it over to Ains about Halo being
I'll go. I'm curious. I'm down for them to come up with a battle royale just because I like having different modes, but I feel like Halo's mechanics are very different than Call of Duty's. You know, like even like you can't go prone in Halo. You know, like there's not as much cover, there's not as much like opening and closing of doors. And I'm not saying that they should add those things, but I'm just curious what this will look like in the end. Again, I'm excited to play it. I'll definitely play it. Like we put lots and lots of hours into Halo, and honestly, with the holiday season coming up, with more of us like having time off and stuff, it's a big time when we get together and play games like that. But either of you or any of you have thoughts about what a battle royale might actually look like mechanically to make it engaging and fun, and obviously a little bit different than Warzone because it wants to be different?
Bubbleboy, you go first. I have an idea.
Yeah, and I was gonna go back to answer the like kind of the third place stepchild thing, and I'm okay with it. Like it doesn't. That's not going to make or break. I'm not going to buy a console because it's the number one selling console. What I'm afraid of every once in a while when I see stuff like this is that because Microsoft has so many other things going, I'm afraid of the idea that they might stop investing in Xbox the way they have over the years. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think they would take some pretty drastic things like I don't know, getting sued over buying Activision.
Yeah, maybe that.
Which, by the way, Ains, have you heard about this? Do you know about this? let's switch gears and talk about, because nobody has given their opinion.
We were gonna go this whole episode.
I'm kidding. No, and of course, Battle Royale is not my thing. If Halo did it, of course I would play.
You're not really big into it. You only played.
No, yeah. I had fun when we were playing Call of Duty Warzone, but definitely not necessarily one of my favorite things. If Halo did it, of course I'd jump in.
Yeah, Ains, Bubbleboy is just kind of like a single player guy. He's just
That's Dan too. He didn't play any multiplayer.
Yeah, I got that too. I would say Bubbleboy. Back to your question, or it was Jose. I think they had something decent with how attrition was. Like, I actually like the attrition game mode, Ains. I don't know about you, but
yeah, it's good.
I think that's a good step in the right direction. I don't think they have to do much. Like, honestly, if they just had it where you drop in and if you die, you're out, or I think they have to have some sort of gulag. I do think that is key. I do like the gulag. By the way, I do like the new gulag in Warzone. I like the 2v2. I think that was a great change. That's one thing why I won't jump back into PUBG is like, I don't even know if they have something like that now. I think a way to get back in. And that's what I really liked about Rebirth. Maybe they take hints from that, and Halo is like a quick way to get you back in the action. Like maybe that's what it needs to be like with Halo. It's a little bit more fast paced, like Rebirth versus the slower paced Warzone 2.0, which, Ains, before I throw it back to you, that is my one critique of the new Warzone is it's looting. Like, you are looting a lot, and it's not as much action as I'm used to because I think I switched to so much Rebirth. And I'm like, this reminds me of PUBG because I'm just looting. I don't think the looting is very good. I think it's hard to see items in general. And so we don't have to talk about Warzone. Let's get back to Halo. I asked you a couple questions about, is it ever going to be the golden child of Xbox anymore? Probably not. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, put a lot of emphasis on Halo, but maybe its time is definitely past. We're old guy gamers over here. And then is Xbox always going to be the third place stepchild?
Yeah, I think, it's and I can talk about different aspects like endlessly. So please just interrupt me if I'm going too long. But
that's why
I know that Chris Raygun got mad at me on Defining Duke when I was like, we need to accept that Halo is not going to be the number one shooter anymore. Like, it's just not. There are too many competitors nowadays that are far easier to pick up and play and compete at, or at least do semi-decent at. The Call of Duties of the world, the Apexes, the Fortnites. Halo is not that. If you take that away from Halo and switch the mechanics, which they started to do in Halo 4 multiplayer, right? They went down the path of kill streaks and they kind of changed things. And then what do you have? You have the Halo. It's still not simple enough for the casual audience, right? They didn't pick up on it, but you then lose the hardcore audience. And what they did with Infinite was they dove back down and redefined. In my opinion, Infinite has the best shooting mechanics, bar none. I think Apex is up there. I think, the Modern Warfare 2 is really good for Call of Duty. I'm not as high on Call of Duty as some, but I think Halo Infinite is incredible from a mechanic standpoint.
What about Halo compared to Destiny? Halo's better, right?
I think Halo's better. I think Destiny and Apex are 2 and 3. Okay. Just my, my bullshit opinion.
He's absolutely right.
Is this a debate between you guys? Right. But my point is that he got mad at that. And he's like, well, it might not be number one, but it can be number 2. And I'm like, no, they're just not. The big third party games, like I've already said, are the biggest games in the world, and they're going to continue to be. And you can pick up Apex and have fun because there's characters to identify with, there's skills, it's fast paced, you can pick up guns instantly and shoot people, and you can get kills. Call of Duty, you can get kills without even hardly trying. Halo is just not that. It's the old school arena balance starts competitive game. And I've had countless friends over the years I've tried to get into Halo, and very few stick with it who aren't fresh to Halo or aren't Halo veterans. Just because of that, the skill gap is large, and it takes dedication to be good at Halo. And I think that's a good thing. That's why many of us love it, but that doesn't jive with it being number one anymore. There are too many other options nowadays, and I just don't see that happening.
Jose, you were raising your hand.
Well, a question for Ains, and I mentioned this like probably a month ago, just totally out of my butt. Do you think that Xbox is working to port Halo to mobile? Like, just with some of the changes to like Unreal Engine rumors and stuff, do you think that's a possibility because they want to capture more people playing the game?
And to add on that, Ains, could Halo get back to being a number shooter if it ever went to PlayStation? I know that's crazy. I'm not saying I want that, but if that happened,
So wow. Okay, you guys are throwing all kinds of balls at me here. So the Unreal thing, let's start
That's
there.
what she said.
You were late, Jose. Dang it.
So as soon as that rumor came out with Unreal, and you know, I'm no expert. I'm not a game dev, but I do work in application development. I've coded. I mean, I have background. I run teams and that kind of stuff. As soon as that rumor came out, I said, no, that's not true. I
Too
mean,
much
you just know,
invested into slip space.
you just know it's not true. It's the people who were talking about it and started to spread that rumor. Sadly, I came out right away and said, this is nonsense. What it seems like, and I'm fortunate enough to know several contacts now who have about as close to inside information from 343 as you can get. They are a very tight-lipped ship. You can't get genuine info out of them, realistically, but I'm about as close as you can get. And it seems like what was happening was merely toolset experimentation, right? And they made it very clear that Unreal has been experimented with in the past. It was experimented with for Infinite, and it's just to capture the physics systems, Forge, which I pointed out at the time too, and everything that goes into Halo as a suite. Unreal, it just can't do it, right? It's not feasible. Now, that doesn't mean that what we're starting to hear more rumbles of is that there are new Halo experiences coming out of 343, right? So Infinite will continue and we get some other type of Halo projects. Now, could those be on different engines? Sure, because they don't have the Forge requirement. They may not have the open world requirement, the physics requirements, right? So, in terms of the mobile question, that's a really interesting thing. Xbox is definitely investing in mobile more than I think people realize. So is PlayStation,
Absolutely.
for that matter. Obviously, I think everyone knows about Activision Blizzard and King being the big revenue chunk that they're trying to grab. But outside of that, a lot of development talent, a lot of tool sets, and people who are familiar with those being invested in an Xbox. It's the mobile gaming market is just too big. It's like 120 billion a year, which is like 68% or something of the entire gaming market. I mean,
they're just crushing it in everything. Yeah.
You have to support it.
And I'm sure you saw that little cool flow chart that Microsoft showed of like the different sections of how console growth has basically stayed the same, and then PC is pretty much the same. It is wild to see that like console has pretty much been the same, and will continue to be the same. And then mobile is just huge. It's shocking because we don't think about that, but I don't think people realize how much the consoles, like you sell a certain amount and that's it. Like it's not growing, right? Like and I don't think it has.
It's one of the
potential
first things Phil said, that Phil is a great communicator in the sense of he says a lot with a little at times. And years ago when they started first talking about xCloud, I interviewed I don't know if you guys know Bill Stillwell, who he was part of the original team at Xbox who did xCloud. Then he left to go to Meta. He's now at Epic Games. I still talk to him, really good guy. But I interviewed him at E3 about xCloud and when they first debuted it. And we had a really good conversation about it. And, he told me at the time, and Phil commented too, that exactly that is that the console market is finite, right? And you have to sell a dedicated device to bring people into the console market. And what you've seen out of Xbox for the last, would you say 2-3 years, right, is this really drive to just connect to people where they are. In fact, in the industries like application or tech industries, that's actually like a mantra, is meet people where they already are, right? Because as soon as you start asking people to buy an additional device that they don't typically own or think of, you're automatically losing a chunk of possible users or end users,
or
right?
you make it super cheap, like a Series S, and get one of those little bad
Series
boys
S
to get
is
into.
amazing.
Yeah, I have two.
Hardware.
So 220 right now, right? Did you see that one?
Yeah.
I think it's through Woot.
There is crazy deals.
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Grab one to travel with. My favorite companion when I go to Allie's house, the in-laws. Okay.
So I think that's that. What was you asked me another question too. I forget now. Daniel, you asked me one.
Just that, is Xbox just always going to be the third place console?
Always going to be third. From a console space, it's hard. I don't even think, I got to be honest with you. I've been in the Phil camp. I don't always agree with everything he says, which is kind of silly to say, right? He obviously knows what he's talking about more than anyone else with this, but I'm kind of in that thinking that they've been at for a while now, which is really, it doesn't matter. It's just not how gaming revenue is measured today. For instance, like we talk about, what's the quickest kind of analogy I can give here? So let's take a high selling game. Let's take God of War.
5
It's
million.
Just, 5 million, right? In its opening 4 days, 3 days, whatever it was. That's great, right? And that's going to generate, if you can do all kinds of crazy quick math on it. Yeah, you can say 300 million in revenue. And then, if you take out probably 40-50%. So let's say they made a couple hundred million, right? And let's say they say 10 million in a year, and they make 300 million. This is raw numbers. But Warzone by itself, not Call of Duty, Warzone made nearly 2 billion last year. Fortnite in 2019, when they were at their peak, they've dropped a little, but they were making 4 to 6 billion per year. The money is in, and you see this in both PlayStation's and Microsoft's charts. Nintendo's in their own thing, but if you look at the fiscal sharing reports, which I do every time they share them, the money and what they're focused on is recurrent spending, right? It's the games where you're going to continue to spend money month over month, right? And that's why they measure MAUs, monthly active users, because that's what's critically important. Sales are good. Console sales are good. You get people in the ecosystem. But the reason you're seeing this Xbox streaming stick, which has been in development for a while now, that's going to be coming out, you just got to get people connected to the ecosystem. It doesn't matter how, right? That's
just
why
like
they're on
Apple
PC.
or Jose being an Apple simp over there.
Absolutely.
He's in the ecosystem. He's never leaving.
Exactly.
He's got 3 Apple TVs for who knows why. He subscribes to Apple TV and every Apple Music and Apple
Ted
Photos.
Lasso, though.
Ted Lasso, exactly.
Come join us over here, Dan. It's
and
I've watched both seasons.
Quest.
I will subscribe for 1 month and then cancel it. Okay.
Did you watch Mythic Quest?
Why would I?
I
haven't seen
yet.
the new season.
Fantastic. It's awesome.
Oh gosh, I started Apple Talk.
You did this to yourself.
I did,
but it is. It's about ecosystem, right? So that's why it's like you can connect with your phone, you can connect on your PC. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while now, right? And PlayStation is slower to adopt, but they're moving the same direction. They're not as vocal about it. They're moving.
Well, they are when it comes to that Call of Duty revenue, right? Though.
Well, yeah, they know where the bread. Bud. They know where the bread is.
Yeah.
And even Nintendo is increasing their investment in mobile. And Switch is kind of, that walked that line between portable, that bled the line between console and DS anyway. So anyway, I don't think the console, to answer the question more acutely, sorry. Like I said, I can ramble about this
you're
stuff,
great.
Is that I don't think it really matters. I don't think console sales are really the barometer they once were, or I know they're not. And I don't think, sure, they want to sell as many Series X's and S's as they can because that still gets people in the ecosystem. And it costs billions to produce those things, right, from beginning to end in terms of R&D. So, yeah, I think you still want to, but it's not as meaningful as it once was. And I've heard directly from people in the industry that either are at Xbox or used to be at Microsoft that the plan is to be disconnected eventually, right? Like eventually once the infrastructure is there, we've seen the Stadia, we've seen Luna, we've seen these dabbles, but once global infrastructure actually supports users just connecting from any device anywhere and you don't need that console, that will happen. It's coming. It's just a matter of time.
Got it. So any other questions, guys? I do want to give Ains a couple more Halo related ones, but anything to what we've been talking about?
Just a fun one about the streaming stick. What do you think the price point's going to be? Just curious, like if you had to throw a number.
Yeah, it's got to be 100.
Yep. 99. The prevailing discussion is that because of what happened with the COVID and everything that's gone on, right? That they couldn't manufacture it at a price that wouldn't hurt them at too much of a. Sorry, guys, it's been a long day.
No,
they couldn't manufacture it and sell it at the $99 price point they wanted to because the cost of manufacture was increased because of everything going on in the global supply chain. That's the rumor, whether or not that's true. But I do think the price point target of 99 is true.
Gotcha. So Ains, tell me one thing that is your favorite part of Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite. There's a lot, honestly. I agreed with you at the outset here, which I think Halo Infinite gets. It's got a bad rap, and sadly, I think a lot of the negativity we hear online is not even people who really play Halo or
exactly
really love
you
Halo.
Know what? I gotta interrupt you right there. I know you listened to Last Stand. makes me so mad sometimes when Colin's like, Halo Infinite is such a trash. It's a dumpster fire. I'm like, dude, you haven't even played the game. And I bet you would like it because it's an open world. It's your checkmark game. It's got fantastic shooting mechanics. I'm sorry. I just had to interrupt and say that real quick.
No, it's true. I got a lot of crap from people when I sat down with Colin one-on-one. I went on his show and then I interviewed him for our channel one-on-one. And I was like, I try to put out there that no matter if you disagree with someone or, whatever it is, try to have common ground. And I think that we had a good discussion, and there's things we agree on. There's things we definitely don't agree on. That would be one of them. So Halo Infinite did a lot right. You asked me, what do I appreciate the most? I would say the mechanics. I think it got back to core Halo, which is outplaying your opponent in terms of movement and shooting. The BR is incredible. The sidekick's incredible. The sandbox of weaponry in general. 343 doesn't get enough.
Minus the Ravager. So why is that in the game?
The Ravager, yeah, it's pretty much a hold-a-point weapon. But the 343 doesn't get enough credit for the things they achieved with Infinite, which is giving us core Halo gameplay in a modern-feeling shooter. You know how hard that is? So, like, if someone tasked me with that, I'd be like, I quit. I'm going to go do something else. Like, I can't do that. Halo 5 was fantastic, but it did add a lot of mechanics that felt bloated to the Halo sandbox. They clean that up with Halo Infinite. The artistic direction of Halo Infinite is incredible. It is reminiscent of Halo CE, but in modern again.
Where would you rank it on the campaign scale?
Believe it or not, I have Infinite either 1 or 2.
Yes.
I don't think that's shocking.
Dude, it is so good. It is so
I loved it.
Yes, there's some personality and some passion in it. Like the weapon and Esparza. Like, come on, sorry, go ahead.
Esparza.
Oh gosh,
he's awesome.
Love it. So that's what makes me sad, though. Ains, you said earlier we're going to get Halo down the road. Are we going to get single player content? Because I really want some single player Halo, and I'm afraid I don't know if we're going to get it if it's going to be the next game. Sorry.
Well, that can kind of lead to a discussion with you guys. What I've heard. Again, take this as you will, is that as of this point in time, and this is a very reliable source, but as of this point in time, because of the outrage about delivery of the live service, is that every resource is working on live service delivery. So that includes Tatanka, and there's a lot of details that I know about the Battle Royale. You were asking earlier about what does it look like. I can talk a little bit about that if you want. Apex is your best picture of what.
How soon, Ains? Breaking news on XRT. You heard it here first. Ains knows the release date of Project Tatanka.
I'm not lying to you. I don't think anyone knows the release date. The original kind of rumbling was with season 4, which would put it in middle of next year. Whether or not that still holds true, probably not. But anyway, so. About single player content, I don't know. I want it to. They obviously left it on a fantastic ending, which I think leads into either the next campaign or what should have been the next story in Infinite, right? But I want to ask you guys, I'm going to throw one back at you because I have preached this for a little while now. I said it on Defining Duke. My biggest issue right now is that with Microsoft or Xbox leadership is that Halo is the Xbox flagship. It still is, whether you agree with it or not. Master Chief's the most recognizable icon. It's worth the most from an IP value standpoint. It's, there's, even if you look at Halo Infinite, there's books and shows, and, there's everything that goes along with Halo. IP value, last I saw was like $6 billion or something is what the IP is worth. Why is Microsoft investing so much in so many of their studios, in acquisitions, obviously Activision Blizzard, all these different things? Why is 343 struggling for resources? If Halo is your flagship and you want this to be your universe, whether it be whatever analogy you want to use, Star Wars, what have you, if this is your universe that you're going to do shows and books and everything they do, but have this game that they want everybody to know Xbox for, why is 343 not a mega studio? Why is it not treated like Call of Duty that has, quite frankly, 8 studios that work on it. 8 studios work on Call of Duty. Why do they not have 1,500 to 2,000 employees rather than the kind of 600, as I understand it, full time? And then they obviously have tons of contractors that help out. But I just don't understand why the investment isn't there more broadly for Halo as an IP.
Was there a chance? Do you want to go first?
You can start, Dan.
I would say that, Ains, do you really think they're all in on Halo being the flagship for Xbox for the future?
I mean, you look.
I hear what
it
you're
feels like they
saying.
talk out of two sides of their face with it, because you have Phil Spencer introducing the Series X, right, and introducing Halo Infinite, saying, and the series Halo Infinite will
It's gonna
launch with the Series X. They put it on their Series X box. They promote the TV show. I mean, it feels like they want to, but over here they're not doing what needs to be done.
And then, but here's what I will say about Xbox. I think they're doing a great job with the diverse lineup of games. And I was going to ask you this in the next question is like 2021 was a banger year. And I still don't think Xbox got enough credit with Psychonauts, with Forza Horizon, Halo when it launched took over. It was a great time. Flight Simulator. There were other, Game Pass games on there. Wasn't Death's Door there. And, I like the Ascent. I enjoyed the Ascent a lot. I really enjoyed that game. And so just a banger year. And then
Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah. So, and then you're like you said, once we went into 2022, the content thing, I think I'll say this with Halo Infinite, I don't think they knew what they were getting into with the live service game. I think they had great ideas and they had a great plan, but they didn't realize how much work that would really take. And like you said, Call of Duty has all these studios to support it. I don't know if it's fair to compare Halo to Call of Duty because Call of Duty comes out every year. Halo Infinite does not come out every year. It is a once in a oh gosh, what was Infinite? Was that 2015 or 5 was 2015? So geez, I can't believe it was that long. It was 6 years.
Yeah.
So, I would, but then we have the Halo TV show. I think you're right. I think it's a major staple of Xbox, but I don't think it's going to be on top anymore. And I think that kind of goes along with what you said too. I think they're pushing Forza Horizon. How many people have played that more accessible? That's a face of the franchise. They're going to have a huge push with Starfield, Bethesda Studios. Like those are going to be a lot of people love those games, including myself. I mean, I'm more pumped about all of the Bethesda acquisition than I am anything. I don't even care about Call of Duty, to be perfectly honest. I play it, I enjoyed it, but like Activision games besides Diablo, I love Diablo Immortal. What was that? 3? What was the last one? Yeah, Diablo 3 that came on the X1. That was the first time I played Diablo. Loved it. I can't wait for that. But I just feel like Xbox is trying to build multiple IPs as like its flagship and showing that they have a diverse array of games, which I love. Like I loved Psychonauts. I think they do such a good job with their lineup of games, and Forza Horizon is an incredible franchise. And maybe they should have left Forza back in what was that, October or November last year, and pushed back Halo a little bit, give it some space. But I don't know, Bubbleboy, do you still think that Halo is the face of Xbox and will always be, or is it time to move on?
As far as from a visual standpoint, that Master Chief helmet that's right there to at the side of Jose and Yu's head, that will never go away, right? Like I have that
you've got the
Xbox
Chief too.
Pride. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course. I don't have the helmet.
And your hat?
Though. Yeah. Oh, I love this hat.
I guess I'm underestimating Halo.
No, I'm saying, and I have that Xbox Pride Master Chief sticker in my office.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people who I would have never known were into gaming. I have 1,000 other gaming things in my office that nobody recognizes any of it, but they see that, and that and it not always like could wax poetic with me about all the different Halo universe stuff, but that helmet and Master Chief in himself is pretty iconic. I would be really sad to see that go away. I think from where they're going to invest their time in physically making games, it might, and that's okay. I think too. Like I love it, but that doesn't mean I am absolutely ecstatic to see what's going to happen from Playground for Fable, right?
Can't
and
wait.
maybe 10 years from now, we'll be looking back and being like, wow, do you remember when Fable kind of took over as the flagship
Studio,
IP for Xbox? Like, that'd be great, I think. And that doesn't have to take away from what Xbox did for the entire video game community, or what Halo did for the entire, not just Xbox, but video game community. So
Jose, before I throw it over to you, do we love Halo more than most people because we're going to be boomers soon? I mean, is that a factor?
You're a boomer. How about that?
But I will say, I didn't answer Ains' real question, though. He said about why don't they invest? I think they're trying to, Ains. I think they're just struggling to get talent, just like everybody else. Like, how much money can you throw at getting people before, when everybody else is throwing money for good talent? Like Bungie's keeping everybody, and that when Sony acquired them and putting all that money in just to retaining their employees. And like, you're right. Could they do more? Absolutely. But why try to make it like Call of Duty, Ains, if you're buying Call of Duty? I'll throw that one back at you before I throw it over to Jose. Jose, what do you think about Halo?
To Chance's point, I think that it is absolutely the most iconic thing. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I mean, when you think about mascots,
like
right?
Mario.
Nintendo has Mario, Sega had Sonic.
What does Sony have now? Is it God
they
of
had
War?
Crash,
Is it-
maybe
Nathan
Kratos, maybe
Drake.
Nathan Drake. I don't know, but Xbox has always had the Master Chief, especially since CE, right? Like literally when this brand new console was being launched
So
that no one
amazing.
heard about, and everybody made fun of Microsoft because like you're never going to make it against PlayStation and Nintendo. It was the game that propelled them out of that. It was the game that everybody just latched onto
Halo,
and loved, and
no Xbox.
that's why you and I loved, and Chance, Halo 2. Like that's why it was such a formidable piece of our upbringing. To Ains's question, I don't know. I honestly really hadn't thought about it, but I do like what you said, Dan, about resources, and Ains, I don't know if you're able to, I mean, that is not the field we're in. In our world of education, people stick around for a long time or they leave entirely. They don't actually you don't bounce around schools very often. I don't know if that's commonplace more in this kind of field of work. The only other thing I could think about is money all it takes? I'm sure Microsoft has a buttload of it they could give to 343, but just throwing mountains of money doesn't guarantee a good outcome. And so, is it a situation where Staten doesn't want to ask for more money because he doesn't want to seem like he needs it, and Xbox doesn't want to offer it because they don't want to be insulting, and it's this weird we really should be supporting each other, but no one wants to take that first step. I don't know, man. That's a great question because that support is important, and if you don't have it, how do you make good stuff?
And Ains, how much does this reflect on how the studio was run before?
Yeah, absolutely.
And no offense to why am I forgetting this? Bonnie Ross. We don't know how that whole thing was going, and now they've got the three people in those lead roles now, which I think is great. I think that's a great way to attack Halo. Maybe they are investing in it more now, Ains. More maybe Infinite and they just couldn't hit everything was the lesson they needed, and moving on from Bonnie and setting up these three leadership roles is maybe they are making a bigger investment in it now. And they've learned hey, we really got to go all in, and Halo Infinite just had to pay the price for it. Again, we're talking Halo Infinite is this big failure, but it's a fantastic game. It really is. The mechanics haven't been better. Like you said, Ains, the campaign for me, absolutely. I think it's my favorite campaign. When I was younger, I kind of understood the campaigns, but I was just there to play and shoot the flood. Let's be real. This one, I felt a connection to the Chief more than I had in any other game. I felt a connection to the weapon. I loved Esparza and where it went. So, I think maybe that's what it is, Ains. Maybe this new leadership and there might be a new investment into Halo. And as much as we love to trash the TV series on Paramount, you guys, I enjoyed watching it week to week because it was different. I mean, I don't want it to be the show, Ains. All right, I don't need to have it be like the games. Master Cheeks, okay, minus that and the love stuff, whatever. I do feel like season 2 they're gonna make a jump. Okay, just like
season
Halo,
2 has different writers, so
we'll then see. There we go. It's gonna be, and I have to say, Ains, what the best part of that show was? Is my aunt, who's 70 something, was like, "Are you watching that Halo show on Paramount?" I'm like, Tia, you're watching Halo on Paramount? She's like, I love it. So, it's getting to a bigger audience, and that's all that matters, right? So, Ains, why don't you close it off with your final thoughts about Halo and its investment? And then also, just very quickly, I need you to tell me about the Halo Championship Series and what that is like, because I'm pretty sure didn't you go, right?
Yeah, I went to Worlds. Yeah, so I think on the investment, I think great point, great comment made, which is throwing money at it is not always going to get you the results, and that's 100% true. Part of the problem, if you didn't know this, I know some people have heard this and some haven't, but Microsoft has a company-wide mandate, company-wide, everything under Microsoft, where a contractor cannot be employed for more than 18 months. And so what we've heard out of 343, part of the problem is if you know in these big game developers, tons of contractors are used. Sadly, it's a problem in the industry because they're used because they're cheaper. They can pay them less. You don't have to give them health benefits, blah, 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 right? It's not a pretty sight within the industry. It's just one of those facts. So what we've heard is that a lot of contractors were brought in on over the course of Halo Infinite because you're not only building the game, you're building an engine, which is a monumental task that 343, again, doesn't get enough credit for.
Was that a good move, Ains, to build your own in-house engine?
I think it was necessary, and that'll prove over time with what comes out of Forge. Yeah, they had
Which
to.
I hear is phenomenal.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
we're gonna play Squid Game next time we play. That's gonna be fun.
I need to join you on one of those nights you're
that's
playing.
awesome.
By the way,
yeah, jump. It's open to anyone. Jump in. But I think so what we've heard is that a lot of people were coming in, working on the engine, working on the open world design, and then being forced out of 343 without any good knowledge transfer. So you've got new people coming in constantly. You've got people with the knowledge being pushed out, and there's just this drop, right, of productivity. So that goes back to, last I heard they were trying to change those rules for Xbox specifically versus Microsoft, and who knows, what's going on behind the scenes there. But throwing money at it is not the solution, 100%. But I think the investment is hopefully there. I agree with you. We're seeing positive signs. Pierre Hines, who is the new kind of top of the three, if you will, he's the new head of studio at 343. He seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. From everything I hear, he gets things done, which is what you do want to hear out of your leaders, right? So we'll see what happens over this next year. I think 2023 is going to be an amazing year for Infinite. I really do. What was the last question you asked me? You said
we can talk
Championship Series.
Championship Series.
Championship
What's that
Series.
like?
Yeah, so that's another kind of that's another thing that was not celebrated enough, I think. So if you didn't know, the Halo Championship Series this year for Halo Infinite, which was year 1 for Halo Infinite, was the most successful in Halo's history. So most viewership.
I was one of the viewers. I got my special skins, Ains. Don't you worry about that.
Of course. So yeah, I went to Seattle for the World Championship back in October. Had a fantastic time. I met Steve Downs. I met Jen Taylor. I met a bunch of the pro players, and I follow it pretty closely. I know a lot of the players, and
Are you a Team Optic guy? Who's your team?
I don't really. I was Pioneers because Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
And then Pioneers dropped out of Halo, and that same squad went over to an esports organization called Native Red, which actually at Worlds they took third. They showed up.
I was gonna say, they showed. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was cool. But it was a blast, man. A lot of good people there. Sadly, year 2 is set to kick off. I want to say in February, I believe, or March, right with season 3, I believe. There was supposed to be an Optic tournament this weekend that they've had to cancel. So they're literally today, the head of Optic was coming out talking about it. So I don't know all the details, but in general, if you enjoy esports competitive shooting, and especially if you want to learn more about Halo, HCS is a lot of fun to watch. Their casting team, in my opinion, is one of the best in all of esports. They're amazing. So it's a lot of fun, and you can really see if you watch it even for a little while and start to listen, to what they're saying and how players are moving and what they're doing, you can start to really understand why Halo has that skill gap that it has. It's amazing.
It's crazy, guys. I don't know how much you've watched the chance, Jose, but the movement is insane. The jumps they're doing, I'm like, I didn't even think about it. I'm sure Ains is over there like, I do all of their special jumps and their 360 stuff, but it's so much fun to watch. And speaking of 2023, we want to throw some rapid fire random questions at you. Okay. And Jose's got some, but I want to do this first one because this was going around a lot, and I think it was Miles Dampier who sent out the tweet about the 2023 outlook for Xbox. So if Xbox only has Forza Motorsport, Redfall, Starfield, don't forget Ghostwire Tokyo should be there too. Would that year be an L, or does there have to be something else? Should the goal be 4 games a year? Just for comparison, like I said earlier, Xbox 2021 killed it. Forza Horizon 5, Sea of Thieves Pirate Life, Flight Simulator, Halo Infinite, Psychonauts 2. Does that count? I think so. Sony 2022, their best year, hands down. Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, God of War Ragnarok. We know Spider-Man's coming in 2023 from Sony. Don't know anything else.
Maybe.
And Xbox 2023, like I said, Forza, Redfall, Starfield, maybe Hellblade, maybe something else. Chance, I'll go to you first, then Jose, then Ains. Chance, would that be an L if we get those 3 games, just those 3 games next year?
No, absolutely not. And I think of like, imagine if the only banger game we got this year was Elden Ring.
Amazing.
Was that an L? Like, and I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to jinx anything, but you know how I feel about Starfield and what I think it's going to be. And if it was the only game I got to play that was new in 2023,
I love it.
I'd be just fine with that. I really would. And
yeah. When was the last time we got a Bethesda game, you guys? A Bethesda studio, the Todd Father? Come on. Are we forgetting what Skyrim did? Are we just... Jose, what about you? Is that an L? You're Mr. Positive. No, that's not
absolutely
an L, right?
No. I will say
what about
the
people who are like, oh, well, they were all delayed. So were all these Sony games that came out this year. Those were all delayed too.
That's just people crying because they like to cry. I would say what's going to be interesting is the timing. I think that's going to play a lot into whether it's deemed a winner or loss year. In the same sense
delayed
that
until November, Jose, is that no?
No, I'm not. I don't want that, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. But think about like Elden Ring. It was a surprise, especially because it came out in February, kind of in like a weird timing for gaming, and it had so much time to really let people play it and get into it. You know, if Starfield hits its right date, and then they wait for some of those other games to come out, that is actually like it's like parlaying your wins. Like if they all release in like the first quarter 2023, I'm not mad about that. But that's like almost too much to play. Like how do you divide your time? You know what I'm saying? In addition to trying to cover back catalog and of course like life, like your job and your family and that kind of stuff.
And all the third party games that will come out.
So I don't absolutely not an L. And I'm pumped for 2023
in
addition to just trying to finish up 2022.
I got a bad feeling. Ains is over there. He hasn't been reacting. I think he. What do you think, Ains? Tell me the truth.
No, it'd be a fine win. Definitely not an L. I think you're right with Starfield. They know they have to get right? And that game has endless potential. I mean, we know that. So I think
Ains, really quickly, did you see that clip, that interview today on what was that podcast that he was on recently
with Tom Liedman?
Whatever
that one,
it was really interesting. I have it the link and I wanted to show it. Like he did say how tough it was to delay it and how they thought did you see that? And so like
I saw the comments. I haven't listened to the interview yet.
I listened to that clip. It's really good, but sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I mean, Starfield speaks for itself, right? If it lands like we think it's going to land, then that's going to be a game that's played for generations like the rest of their games. I'm a huge car guy. That's my other hobby besides games. So Forza is very personal to me. And Forza is probably one of my most anticipated games because of what I know has gone into that game to make it what it is. And even if you're not into car games or not into Forza, I think that Forza and Gran Turismo, the casual audience doesn't understand just how big those games are, how big those communities are that play those games. That's going to be a huge game, which also has the potential to be played for years on end. And then Redfall, sadly, I'm an Arcane apologist. I adore Arcane. They're one of my favorite studios. I love their games to death.
2017
Prey is legendary. It is. It's legendary. It's the modern BioShock we never got. But I'm really excited for Redfall. But I don't know if that's going to move mountains. I think that's just a good AAA game, especially with co-op now. That's going to launch on Game Pass. But no, I'm long-winded, guys. I'm sorry. No, I think even if those were the only 3, I don't think they will be. But even if they were the only 3, I think that's still a strong year from a first-party AAA perspective.
Completely agree. Bubbleboy, it says you're offline right now, so I'm just going to ignore that.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
It's not recording. Bubbleboy, why don't you do me a favor? Leave, come back in, because I'm seeing it not recording. So Bubbleboy has to go. His Wi-Fi and his private jet is cutting out, so he's going to cut out and come back in. Ains, if there was a 4th, what would your guess be?
Yeah, so I hope to see Hellblade next year.
Okay.
I really do. I hope to see it by the end of next year. They are really, from what I understand, pushing boundaries with that game and really going all out. So I don't know if we will. I also keep in mind the big thing that's on my mind is assuming Activision Blizzard goes through by the first quarter, which is what Hoag's about as knowledgeable on this stuff as anyone I've spoken to, right? He's made clear from the start he expects it to go through in the first quarter of 2023. As soon as that happens, Diablo 4 will be a first party game next year. And Diablo is far bigger than pretty much anything we're talking about. Diablo is a monster.
Minus
IP.
Starfield. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got the
Come
history
on, Bethesda, you guys. I think Diablo has a huge hardcore base. I don't know, Ains. I don't know, man. You're crazy.
Mark me down. Mark me down, and we'll come back. We'll circle back next year. Let's take first month sales of Starfield versus Diablo 4.
Diablo's multi-platform. Diablo's multi-platform. That's not fair.
Well, that's true. Okay, we'll see if we can separate out PlayStation. We'll see if we can take PlayStation out of it.
Xbox PC sales. I'll take that in and out bet, as Ryan McCaffrey would say. Even though in and out or overrated. Am I right, Ains? Overrated, right?
What is?
In and out.
Oh, In and Out. Grossly overrated.
Thank you. Gosh, we got to get this guy's going to be a permanent co-host. Jose, I know you had some fun questions for Ains. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, just as we get closer.
Bubbleboy too. Yeah, I do want to talk about what we've been playing too, very quickly. Ains, we could go for about an hour and a half. Is that okay for you?
Dude, I'm not on a time limit. We can talk as long as you want.
All right, so for Ains, imagine you've got a full weekend to yourself. No work, no responsibilities, no family. Right? What would you do right now? Games, systems, food? Would you go out? Would you stay in? What would you do for 2 days unhinged?
Oh man!
Wow.
What a weekend.
The sad thing is, guys, the first thing my mind goes to is what content do I have to create? What am I obligated to be doing? Assuming that it would probably be probably some new game I haven't had time to really dig into. I would probably get something like I don't know if guys know what Grimaldi's is, my favorite pizza chain out here. Probably get a nice big Grimaldi's. I always have Red Bull and some drinks around, and I would just veg out and do that. Yeah,
nice.
I love it.
What's one on the backlog though? You didn't give a specific one. What's been on there that you got to get to?
My second most anticipated game this year comes out officially in 90 minutes, which is Callisto Protocol.
Yes.
See, we're keeping him up. We're getting him ready for. That's right.
So pumped, bud.
Yeah. So I'm pumped for that. I hope it delivers. I'm scared, guys, because other bigger channels in Season Gaming didn't get codes. We didn't get a code. Other outlets I've talked to didn't get codes. And the embargo is not until after release.
I know.
So I'm nervous.
Does that have to be? I mean, obviously it's
never
upsetting.
a good sign. Let's be real.
I'm nervous.
A good sign. Oh no. So at least we have Resident Evil 4 coming out because I'm super pumped for that.
Good one. But I don't know what that would be. I've played. I'm still finishing Ragnarok. Honestly, right now I'd probably go back and restart Forbidden West because I'm a big Horizon fan on the PlayStation side, and I only put about 5 hours into that because Aloy annoyed the hell out of me with how much she talked. It was bad. It was real bad. But they
beat the first one. I was like, wait,
yeah. So. That would be.
I may have just made this up. So if I'm stealing it from somebody, I'm sorry. Did you say Ragnarok or Ragnarok?
Ragnarok.
All I did in that game was walk. I just walked, and then I walked some more, and then I kept walking. And after I walked,
I'm actually pretty critical of that game.
Yeah, he is. Ains is right there with you, Bubbleboy. No, you loved it more besides the walking.
It was a good game. It was.
It's not a bad game.
I just man.
Oh gosh, I was thinking about it today. I was like, okay, well, I won't spoil what I've been playing. So Jose, go get another question.
So the other one I wanted to ask, and this is quite a bit more personal. I noticed in one of the images on your site, reading through really one of your real great articles that Chance is going to, I think, bring up here in a minute, your tattoo on your right arm. Can I ask what that is? Both Chance and I are pretty inked up. We're trying to convince Dan to get inked up. What do you got there? Because it's a pretty beastly, like beautiful piece of work.
Thank you. So it is a so I've told the story a few times. It's in memory of my son, Daniel, who was killed in 2018. When my wife has a lot of tattoos, she's full sleeves, both arms, full back, a a lot. And
Awesome.
I was never going to get a tattoo. It was just one of those things. It's kind of funny seeing us next to each other, honestly. But when my son was killed, me, my stepson, my stepdaughter, and my wife all got tattoos from the same place, same artist. They're all unique. They're all custom art. And she's known for her color. Like, she's very well known for the color. So yeah. So it's a lion. Oh, sorry, I can't. It's a
No, you're good.
lion.
You're good, bud. It
No,
looks
yeah,
great.
I can see. Yeah.
That
Wow.
he really, when he became a teenager, for whatever reason, got into like reggae and Rastafarianism.
Oh.
He
Awesome.
I
was
thought you were going to
killed
say the
when
Detroit Lions. I was like, oh, that's random.
no, there's nobody. I mean, come on. He was 17 when he got killed, and he was really into that. And so what it is, it's a lion in kind of the homage to Rastafarianism flag that I saw with him one day. It has green eyes, which he had green eyes, and then if you notice the coloring, it's green. He's all orange, reddish, and then there's red at the top. So it kind of mimics the Jamaican colors.
Beautiful, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Absolutely wonderful.
What
work.
about
I
what
love it.
did your wife and stepson get as well? The others.
So my stepson has tattoos on his forearms of poems. Basically, they're full on poems that Daniel, my son who was killed, wrote. He used to write poems. And then my stepdaughter got same arm, same kind of half arm and coloring, but she got like an owl and some other things. It's really beautiful looking. And then my wife has the most special, which is, it's a long story here, guys.
No,
There
please.
was a song that she used to play for him that he loved. It was like a creepy, ghouly song. He's into horror and stuff, and we both are. We're big horror fanatics. And
yeah,
it was
bud.
like this a kid's version of like a creepy, ghouly song that he used to love as a kid. And she took that song, she gave it to the tattoo artist and said, well, we want to make art out of this song.
Very cool.
And so it is him, my son, riding a dragon, in like a artistic way, not like Game of Thrones way, with like all kinds of references to both the song and the stuff that was in his bedroom that he loved. So it's got like a British flag. My
Very
family is
cool.
entirely English. He loved England. And it's got all kinds of stuff, basically top to bottom. That's all 100% custom art. And then we had the art created and printed out. We sent it to the guy who wrote the song, and he wrote a message to my wife about Daniel on it. It's framed upstairs. Yeah.
That is incredible.
That
man.
is,
Thank you
yeah.
for sharing that. That is
Yeah, thank
super rad.
Yeah, it's
Thank
cool,
you.
man. And she's gotten more since then. She now did the other arm since then, which has an animal that represents each of the kids. And yeah, she's all kinds of crazy art
See,
on her.
those are excellent reasons to get
Yeah,
a tattoo.
wow.
I was thinking about getting like an N7 symbol, like pretty much. So
Well, they're trying to talk me into doing a full sleeve on this arm of video game stuff. So like,
You
Chief
should
of
do it.
yeah, you gotta
Cortana,
have the chief. Come on, Ains. You
and
gotta
yeah.
have the chief, man. You're pretty big into that.
Don't. They're like, she's like, you're so pale, your skin is perfect. And I'm like, I know, but so I'd get like the cog, I love Gears of
Yeah.
War, so the cog and
But by the way, we didn't even bring up Gears. Highly underrated. Can we just
I love
all
Gears.
agree? And the Coalition, probably Microsoft's best studio. Like, okay, sorry. Can't wait
I
to see
just
what they do next.
real quick too. I just want to honor I like from the bottom of my heart, like thank you for having the courage to be vulnerable and share that in front of the tens of people that will listen to this, but just sharing that with us, like that really is. That meant a lot to hear that from you. So,
in fact, I think I've talked about this tattoo, but I don't think I've given that same amount of detail about all of the tattoos to anyone else. So there you go.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks,
Wow.
man.
We're honored. Thank you so much. Bubbleboy, did you have a question for?
yeah, and kind of because I think that hit me because I work in the mental health profession. I'm a school counselor, and one of my favorite things about your website is that good in gaming, and because
Awesome.
we are like we try to do everything we can. Of course, we can be critical, but we try to do everything we can on this show to keep it positive and be like, this is a hobby that we're supposed to be enjoying and having fun.
Yeah.
You play to have fun in
right,
games, Jose.
You play to win the game.
Right. And so it like to see that and see all the cool things that you guys post on there and just the exciting stuff that gets, I think, how do I want to, I don't know, I'm getting all like teary and emotional here, but like how hold on. back up, Daniel. You're gonna have to edit the hell out of this.
No.
What I
No,
wanted to ask or say was thank you for doing that. And then what I wanted to ask was if you were able to kind of sum up just for our audience and honestly, selfishly for me, in a 2-minute rundown, like an elevator speech of one of my favorite ones was the discussing gaming's impact on mental health. Because I think it's so easy and parent after parent that I talk to, well, they're on those damn video games and right. And I'm like, and they say that to me with like my Xbox fridge sitting there and all the other stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that. But I just wanted to hear, and because also I'm sure I don't know everybody that's listening to this will be able to just click and watch your video. If you're able to sum that up in a quick elevator speech, what would you say about that and your time with Dr. Rachel Cowart?
So yeah, I was pulling up the site. I always have it up, but I was pulling up the page to make sure I'm thinking about the right one here. And yeah, so I met Rachel last year, or it might have even been 2 years ago now. She works at Take This, which is a fantastic organization. She has a PhD and done all sorts of clinical research into understanding what video games do in terms of mental health. And she's what I would consider an expert on it. And that's why I love talking to her. And she's actually blown up quite a bit over the past year. She has her own channel, which you can find called Psych with a P. Absolutely look it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I forget how I first talked to her. We talked a little bit. She was on BigCast one time, and then I just sat down and interviewed her one-on-one as well. And I think yeah, check out. So if you go to Season Gaming, there's Good in Gaming right on the tab there. It's an initiative I started a few years back because I wrote the article about my son and what gaming meant to me. And that was a very, I was about to say lethargic. That's not the right word. Cathartic article to write. And it occurred to me that, as you kind of touched on at the start there, that in general, to be honest with you guys, I get on my soapbox a little bit, that it drives me nuts that a lot of the popular shows, the big click videos, and, I preach about this too much as it is, but it's just garbage. Like, and I don't mean that in an attacking way, but it's like, it's just more yelling or screaming or critiquing that you get from thousands of people every day, everywhere, about the same stuff. And I think that with gaming having such a fundamental positive impact in so many facets for people, right, in our lives, whether it's something as serious as what I've talked about with my son, or it's just you treat online gaming as your modern day hangout with your friends, which a lot of us do. I do, and many of us do. No matter what it is, there's so many positive things about gaming. And the more research that comes out from people like Rachel, the more we discover how good gaming can be for people. Mental acuity and logic and reasoning. And, they use gaming in all sorts of mental health facilities now and in different, working for different things. And they're just finding it helps in all these ways. And I just wish more big sites with big audiences would cover this stuff. And they don't, because it doesn't get a lot of clicks, and it's sad. And so, my little contribution was to do the Good in Gaming initiative, to put the tab on the site and try to work with people like Rachel and others who do content like that, and at least try to shine what spotlight I can on it.
Yeah, and they're just so neat, and so thank you for putting that out there, and thank you for being a champion of good in gaming and just good in the world, I guess too. But
and thank you.
I don't know if you picked up on, they were giving me crap earlier because I just put 60 hours into Power Wash Simulator.
I had a couple of people at Season Gaming who love that game, man. They were playing it like crazy.
I can't explain it.
More hours in that than God of War, right?
Yeah. I can't explain it, but I am positive it has helped my stress levels over the last month that I've been playing it. I sleep go to bed better. I'm playing it right before I go to bed, and there's something about like checking off those. Have you played it all? Do you have like any concept of what I'm talking about when I talk about it?
I've seen the videos. I haven't played it.
When you like check off and you get the little ding ding and things turn blue, it's
a dopamine hit.
So it is. It's so amazing. And so you're kind of making my wheels turn a bunch here because I am looking at her website now, and I definitely want to.
She's awesome.
I'm looking
see
at
about getting in
page
touch
too.
here because I just think it is such an easy thing in my environment in the high school world to put down, and we have an esports team that's getting better. We actually, what was it, the year
3
before
years ago.
COVID, right, Jose?
You played my school, yeah.
Played his school for the state
Nice.
championship, which was pretty awesome.
You guys are in the championship? I don't remember.
That's
that.
awesome.
I got smoked.
Yeah,
Kansas
it
team
was.
won.
Wait,
it
took
was
home the
pretty-
title?
He
with
did,
state
but they were great.
champions, the
They had some
first
dope jerseys
ever.
too.
It
Yeah.
was a pretty
That's
big
awesome.
deal, and
Oh,
it's
that is
still
awesome.
like it's still. We kind of, I think it was a couple episodes we talked about this, how like the nerds, right? Like there's
How
still
when
that,
we grew up, Ains, how
right?
like you know
And
we were kind of a little embarrassed, right? And
you
we
couldn't let
weren't-
that
Oh,
nerd flag
God, yeah.
fly, and I'm like, it's funny because the esports coach like had to beg to get all these different things unlocked with the internet and get his bandwidth upped and stuff, and he's like, oh wait, esports, like if the football team asked for different Kleenexes, they'd spend 10 grand on different kinds of
But
Kleenexes.
true.
Like let's I don't want to get into like Title IX stuff, and because I don't want to sound sexist, but I'm like this has an amazing impact on these kids, and they're all, shocker, doing really well, not getting in trouble. Like weird.
I wish I
weird
had that when I was a
concept.
kid.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. Could you
That's a great-
imagine?
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
if there was a Halo, oh my god.
Oh,
State
man.
champ
I
right
would
there.
hope. I would hope, and this is what we talked about. I don't even know if I would have had the courage to join it. Right? Like I think I would have, and because
I
Jose
know.
was
Gosh,
nobody
that makes
could-
me so sad. I hate when
nobody
we
could
talk
ever talk crap about Jose, and he probably would have had.
Yeah, Jose
been brave
was-
enough to
I would have
join it.
joined
So
for day one.
but it's really nice to see you
Yeah.
championing these kinds of things, and I wish there was, I don't expect you to do it all, but I wish there were more like you putting it out there. And are you
Thanks, man.
hiring also?
So one, I would say reach out to Rachel. She's one of the friendliest people you ever speak to.
Cool.
I talked to her a few weeks ago. I just check in with her once in a while, and I share her stuff all the time. She's doing awesome, but she's usually very, very open
That's
to
cool.
conversations and podcasts. So seriously, guys, if you want to,
Nice.
I would not be shy about reaching on. I'm happy
Awesome.
to let her know that, hey, I showed with these guys this week. They're awesome. They want to talk more about this. I'm sure she'd come on.
That'd mean a
That'd
lot,
be
man.
awesome.
Yeah. And are we hiring? Well,
I mean, I was mostly joking.
Hey, I thought you worked for us. I know. Xboxrecordthis.com. What are you doing?
well,
My bosses were listening. Let's slide into those DMs.
well,
there, right?
remember that Season Gaming is a non-monetized
No, I
site.
know,
So,
I know.
yeah, we don't pay. Don't quit your day
You
job.
want to be
Neither
a
does
contributing a
Daniel
person
doesn't
over
pay
there,
either.
and I'm begging you guys to do some reviews for
I just
XRT.
told you today I would try to figure out this.
I don't need you on
TikTok
TikTok. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Ains, thank you so much for sharing everything. Honestly, that is awesome, and thank you so much for. We reconnected. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we're
Thank you
good,
so
man.
much for sharing. And I just want to close on what have we been playing, guys? Jose, why don't you go first?
Sure, man. Well, I'm just like Ains. I've been like trying not to think about Callisto Protocol all week. Like literally just like
Oh my gosh, what, 30 minutes until
Half
it's
an hour,
available
boys.
to us?
Half an
yeah.
hour.
I considered taking tomorrow off, but I actually have a
I'm
district
off.
meeting I have to go to.
Oh, you dog.
Yeah.
You need to get that clip, Jose. You dog.
I will. So it's I'm super pumped for that. But what I've been playing this week, I played a tiny bit of Halo, just trying to work through Winter Pass. I also have playing a bunch of Stick of Truth, man. Like really
Oh, I
just
love it.
I've kicked
Nice.
myself that I didn't play it earlier, and I'm really enjoying it. I just got to the point where I'm at the clinic right now. Do you remember that scene?
That's what we were
so-
talking about.
So I'm enjoying that quite a bit, and I'll still keep playing it in between Callisto because I'm sure that'll be like a high stress game where like I need to cool out a little bit. Other than that, the only other thing I'll say, me and my wife watched that Wednesday show on Netflix and loved it because we're also big Halloween people. Ains, like I love horror stuff.
Yeah, I forgot to say.
Big
Nice.
Halloween, we got married on Halloween.
Spooky season.
So that's what I've been playing, man. It's been super great. I'm super psyched for December. I cannot wait for Callisto
Oh,
Protocol.
we got to talk horror sometime then, for sure.
Oh my
love to,
gosh.
bud.
Oh, we could talk for hours about that. Bubbleboy, why don't you update us? Why don't you tell Ains about your accomplishment you had the other day?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was just last night, and I think how did I put it as well?
Well,
actually,
I don't think we can say it on there. Yeah.
But I got my 1,000 out of 1,000, and platinum in within an hour, I think, got my platinum got on Ragnarok and my 1,000 out of 1,000 on Power Washer Simulator. And it was funny because I kind of knew that I had spent more time on Power Wash Simulator, but it was 60 hours versus 40 hours. I was like, ooh, I went 50% longer on Power Wash Simulator. Both worth your time, like I said, and I'm not going to bore the audience because I've been raving about both of them for the last, I think, 2 weeks now. But nothing has changed. I mean, God of War plateaued the same way it did, and not in a bad way. I still, it's worth your time. It's worth your money, I think, too. It's Daniel, stop.
I've heard enough from you and Ains. I'm not going to do it.
It's a good game. And 40.
But Hogue said it best. We need to be more critical of these well-polished, spectacle games. You have you have.
I called it. I think I made up. I don't know. Has anybody heard of Ragnarok? Like that's what
I call it crawl through rocks, but
See, and that's even more on the nose, right? But there were a lot of really well done things for it, and
it's a weird mix of a game. It feels like it's two different games. Like it's strange.
And it just. Well, I can't talk to you about end game stuff, I guess, because never mind. Sorry. So that's what I've been playing. I guess. Hey, maybe help me out. I have Bloodborne, Demon's Souls, which I played on day one release, the original way back on PS3. Demon's Souls. I was the first. I will say that of the nerd chat here.
Course.
Before Jbiz even. Demon's Souls. Or Bloodborne, which do I need to jump into? Because I didn't play Bloodborne back in the day. It would be new to me.
Bloodborne's a better game.
Okay.
Demon's Souls is a far more polished game because the remake is absolutely stunningly incredible.
Okay.
But Bloodborne is in my opinion the far better.
That's kind of where I was leaning, but I just wanted to and that's my other guy who's a huge PlayStation, like he doesn't own an Xbox, that I work with, was like, yeah, you gotta go Bloodborne. But
yeah.
And then I'm gonna, in between those, get some Miles Morales time in there.
Nice.
I feel like to kind of cleanse the palate, because I'm telling you, I was telling these guys that, like, as I was playing Ragnarok, I was like, I kind of want to just switch to Miles Morales so I can swing around New York City and remember what it was like
fun
to travel in a game and enjoy traveling in a game. Like, that'd be really cool, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Bubbleboy, perfect segues. Speaking of the Dark Souls games, guys, I am once again maidenless. Okay, I jumped back into Elden Ring.
Of course you did.
So now update me. Are you someone who's already beat it and just keeps playing it, or are you someone who's trying to get into it?
Oh, here
he's beaten it multiple times.
Buckle in.
Good. Okay, good.
Ains, I had never played a Souls game until Elden Ring came out.
I love hearing these stories. Hit me with it. Come on.
And at first I was like, what is with this game? I don't like this.
He
refused. Why am I dying so fast? What is going on? But then
it clicked, didn't it?
Ains. And I became obsessed. And I was the first out of the nerd chat to get 1,000 out of 1,000 on Elden Ring. I was so obsessed with Elden Ring. I couldn't even, I just couldn't stop thinking. I'm thinking about it right now, to be perfectly honest with you. And then right after that, what did I do, Ains? I got the platinum trophy on the PS5. I did it in 38 hours. And then just last week, I was like, I think I need to go back to Elden Ring. Guys, I started Elden Ring, and I also have the platinum for the PS4 version of Elden Ring. Did it in 33 hours and 15 minutes. I discovered this spell where you have this giant great sword, and then I've got the little carrion slicer, and then I was doing the meat. Oh my gosh, I was so sucked in this past week into Elden Ring. Took over my life.
Blows my mind that you refuse to even try Sekiro.
The pairing. I suck at pairing in general. I can't. I thought about buying it again. It was on sale, the lowest you'll ever get it digitally. It was $29.99, and I couldn't pull the trigger. And then Demon's Souls is on sale. I was like,
yeah.
Elden Ring. Have you played Souls 3?
I did. Oh yeah, no, I just played that last.
Just finished that too.
I just played that, and it was really cool to see the progression. That's what happened, Ains, is I just beaten Dark Souls 3 like a couple of weeks ago, and it was so cool. I saw the progression it made, and I was like, but man, Elden Ring is something else. Guys, Elden Ring is a game of the generation. It is absolutely insane. Going back to it, Bubbleboy, sorry, like you forget how special this game is, and where I'm still just in awe every time I go down to the depths of what is it, the Sophia Well or whatever it's called, and Mogwin's Palace or whatever. Like, you guys, this game is incredible. It is so much more special than we give credit for, and yeah, the story sucks. Let's be real. I mean, you got to really dig in, but you know what the best part of all the Souls games is they let you play. And that's what I'm appreciating more as I get older is you get to play the game right away. You are playing, you are having fun, you are just enjoying the combat. And my gosh, I am all aboard the Elden Ring Souls game. Yes, I will get to Sekiro eventually, but I need a palate cleanser. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do until High on Life. Like, that's what I really want to play next.
And I know, and I do have to.
You might need to leave and come back.
I do have to point out, yes, you did get the 1,000 out of 1,000 first. I got the first 1,000 out of 1,000 by actually playing it 3 times, though. You did the cheat save.
Oh my gosh. You didn't play it 3 times. You beat the boss 3 times.
Daniel, absolutely not. Go back and look at the achievements. I beat it 3 separate.
Okay,
we talked about
I
this.
had to beat the Elden Beast 3 times because my save thing
now that
didn't
we
work.
have a guest on, you're like, I don't remember that.
Okay, well, I did it on PS4 and PS5. Let's be real.
Afraid
without back paddles on my controller, with the crappy DualSense, and I have to use circle to roll, and I can't keep my thumbs on the thumbsticks. Ains, I gotta ask you, do you use back paddles, or are you still old school, or are you like a claw guy or something?
No, I use funny enough, I didn't use the paddles until Infinite. I retrained my brain to have jump on Infinite because
on the right or left, or you jump on the with
I'm a lefty, so I use it on my left finger. But you know, it's just you have to be able to jump and aim at the same time in Halo, and I wanted to get back into ranked pretty hardcore for Infinite, so I trained. It took a while. God, guys, I was like making so many mistakes. I was like, God, but now that I've done it, it's a game changer. Now that I've done it, there's no going back. Yeah, there's no going back. So,
quick update too, as well as the PS5. I did order a Scuff controller, and I want to compare it to the Elite just so I can see the quality of it and using paddles. But of course, I'm like, I'll get it by the time I'm playing Elden Ring. I've already beaten Elden Ring now, and I got through it without using it. Jose, you are still offline. I do think you need to leave and come back. It's okay. So, Ains, what have you been playing? Sorry.
No, you're fine, man. Ragnarok mostly. I've been playing a lot of Warzone 2. I am big Battle Royale. Yeah. I play, I've played a ton of pub, like I said, like nearly 1,000 hours of pub. I played a lot of Apex. I was waiting on Warzone 2. I really enjoy it. You mentioned earlier, actually, way earlier on the looting. I like that. Like, I like the slower paced game.
And I do too, to an extent. Like, Ains, I have a feeling like you will actually come and help out. I gotta throw Pack Attack under the bus. There are times where my buddy that I've been gaming with since elementary school, he'll just continue leading. I'll be like, hey, Alan, I've got 2 guys over here. Come on, let's go get them. And I'll go take out one, and I'll almost have the other, and then I'll die. And I'm like, dude, if you were just there, if you got involved, we'd still be alive, and they would be out of the game. So sorry. Exactly.
You got to choose your teammates wisely.
I guess so.
But I love it. I love it a lot. I love the fact where, like, it's such a big game and such a big map that, like, it'd be 20 minutes into a match and there's like 70 people left. I'm like, I love this. I love it. But anyway, so I've been playing a lot of that, and then and Ragnarok. I was trying to get Ragnarok finished. I didn't have to review it, thankfully. So I was trying to get through it before Callisto released. That has not happened. I play games very slowly because I'm very much I have to get everything type guy, not trophies, but just like in the game.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, so I'm at 30 hours in Ragnarok, and from what people tell me, I still have a good like 25% of the story left to go, never mind side missions and stuff. So I got a while to go yet. But no, Callisto will take over very, very soon, and I'm scared, but I'm hopeful. So
very, very nice. Well, Ains,
and Infinite. I'm always playing Infinite as well. So,
Ains, we're gonna close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. So we'll start it off for you, Ains, while you have some time to think about it. Bubbleboy, why don't you go first? What was the best food you had this week?
Yeah, this is a hard one. Can I go second?
Okay, but Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
So two things. We Jaime's Mexican restaurant, which is a restaurant here in kind of southwestern Colorado that we go to all the time. They opened a second location. It's on South Broadway, actually right next to Phantom 8 Chance, where we got some of our tattoos. So we went there, and it was delicious, just like the other restaurant. That was awesome. And then also, I had to go to. We had our first basketball game of the season that I had to cover on Monday, and afterwards got home like literally at like 9:30 on the way home. Pulled up into Taco Bell. They have like a new deluxe cravings box that was just delightful. With the steak chalupa, which I had never had the steak chalupa. I always just get the regular beef one. So highly recommend. It was also, it was only like $5 or $6, which you can't beat that. So those are two best things I had this week.
Very nice. I'll go next, Bubbleboy.
Okay.
You still think. Take your time.
So I got it. I was just like,
I want to share my story anyway. So guys, I went on a nice.
We're not having another bathroom story where someone talks about you peeing.
This is about
if it has
you have to hear this
to do with an old man.
How did you know? Wait, hear me out.
So we went the only story you tell. It's just at a different restaurant.
If there's an old man peeing, I think I got to go, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Daniel.
So the best food I had this week was at Buffalo Wild Wings. I finally made it to the restaurant, and I kind of remembered why. Remember how we ranked it? I had at number 5, delicious wings, the Asian Zing, mango habanero. That's all you need. They're the best flavors, hands down. Okay, but then I realized my stomach is starting to pay for it afterwards, and the acidic hot caca diarrhea is definitely becoming more of a problem in my older years. So that was the semi best food I had this week. And then I do want to say another thing that I'm enjoying a lot more is I've been on in like Ains, you probably do this because I know you're hitting back in that weight room, is the egg whites. I've been doing a lot of egg whites, you guys. And then Jose, I stash the salsa from Burrito Express that I get, the extras, and I put a little of that on the little tortilla with some egg whites. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. I had a little bit of shredded cheddar. Man, those breakfast burritos, best food I had this week. Bubbleboy, what about you?
No, so what I was debating, and I just had like the most massive brain fart about it because I think I'm ready to out myself, and I'm gonna get demoted for this.
You already are.
This morning, I had my new standard McDonald's breakfast order, which is 2 sausage McMuffins, and I skipped the. I know. I skipped the McGriddle. I'm sorry. I was so happy and I was so satisfied with the 2 sausage McMuffins. And it was really funny because even the guy, when I ordered it, I felt like he was judging me for ordering. He said 2 muffins. I was like, yeah, that was me. And I was like, I think he just told, like, obviously I was reading way too far into it, but I was like, I can feel him exuding Daniel and Jose like through the
disappointment
through window.
Out of all the things,
I was nothing but happy. I loved it. I loved having 2 of them.
Did you say sausage biscuits or McMuffins?
The sausage McMuffins.
Okay,
no
that's
egg.
Better. I thought you were gonna wait. Never mind. Ains,
no egg.
Please save us. What was the best food you had this week?
Wow. I was going to cheat a little bit and say, well, it's only been a week since Thanksgiving. So I roasted a duck for the first time, which was actually quite good. Me and my son-in-law did that. We got smoked a duck, not roasted, smoked a duck, which was really good. But this week would have to be, I'm actually don't have anything too exciting for you here. I'm trying to, you actually said rightly, I broke my leg a couple months ago, and that really screwed up my, my workout routine. So I'm trying to get back into the fitness I'm usually in. So I'm not eating anything interesting, but we did go to, there's a really good Mexican place local here called Jalapenos. And so I get like a fried chicken taco is like one of my things. I love fried chicken tacos. And fried chicken taco platter with some amazing beans and rice and, just everything that goes with it. And that was probably the best thing.
Love it.
Very nice. Gentlemen, this has been Xbox Record This episode 83. My name is Daddy Diwali. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media as well. Bubbleboy, where can people find you?
I'm going to be crushing TikTok. Just soon we'll have like over 1 million followers. Don't worry. I got this. I'm like our social media Guru so.
Very nice. You said 2 people followed us today. I still have 0 followers on TikTok on our XRT account. And Jose, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chipotle Bear or on Twitter, Chipotle_Bear. You can also find me diving into the moons of Callisto here shortly. Can't wait.
Oh, and
No, the moons of Jupiter, right?
Oh, that's right. Moons of Jupiter near Io. Yeah.
Callisto is one of the moons.
And Ainsley Bowden, where can people find you?
Yeah, so because of my name, I'm pretty easy to find. It's not a common thing. So just find Ains or Porsche Power. I'm Porsche Power everywhere on all platforms. And of course, Season Gaming. Anyone who swings by, checks us out, whether it's the site, the channel, you can find everything on the site. So every link there, all our articles, reviews, podcasts, everything we do. So if you swing by, let us know. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Genuinely, it's been a blast. A genuine joy chatting with you guys. I thank you for having me on. Happy to come back on anytime in the future and chill with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Good show you have here, and appreciate the positivity take as well. It's I enjoy conversations like this genuinely over the normal kind of just rambling about Activision Blizzard for 2 hours every day.
Hey, and seriously,
Activision.
Thank you, Ains. Thank you so much for coming on. I've been so excited about this. You can even ask my wife earlier. I was like on a high. I don't know if it was the pre-workout I took out earlier, but I was like,
it shouldn't be me. It shouldn't.
You
be
are
me.
so excited tonight. I'm like, well, we got a special guest. We got somebody who's in the gaming industry. He is actually a games journalist. They've got a great show. I do want to shout you guys out. I love Bitcast. It's become one of my favorites recently. I just started to jump in. I really appreciate how more agnostic and balanced you guys are. Like, you're my show that covers everything. So I do want to thank you for that as well. Thank you so much. We'd like to say, we're a single A ball club podcast here. When we get one of you guys on, we jump up to the majors. So thank you so much for coming on to our show. And
I was telling my mom how excited we were because my daughter's Christmas concert was tonight, and my parents live close, and
Bubbleboy almost canceled the kids' concert to be here.
Canceled the concert. Yeah. I told my mom, she's like, you still do that podcast?
Hey, we're going strong. We've had Joseph on here. We had Kyle. Now we've got Ains. Come on, we're going to grow. It's all good. So again, seriously, Ains, thank you so much for being here. I will gladly talk about Halo and everything related Xbox anytime with you. And just follow our lead here on the outro, okay? So I'm going to throw it over to you first, okay? As always, Spartans, see you online. What? And say you online.
Oh, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean shenanigans? No! You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away!
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at Daddy Diwali on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at Bubbleboy N7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.